Captain Hyun-woo stood on the bridge of the Terra's edge, watching the stars through the main screen. The ship moved quietly through space near the Kepler 442 system. It was a peaceful night shift, like many others during their 3-month exploration mission. The Terra's Edge was not a warship. It was built for science and discovery. The crew of 200 people studied new planets and collected samples from distant worlds. They had basic weapons, but nothing compared to military vessels that protected human colonies. Hyun-woo liked the quiet times. Space was big and empty, and finding anything interesting took patience. He was drinking his evening coffee when everything changed. "Captain!" Lieutenant So-young called from her station. Her fingers moved quickly over the communication controls. "I'm getting a signal. It's not human." Hyun-woo set down his coffee and walked to her station. "What kind of signal?" "It's a distress call, sir. Very strong, coming from about 2 light hours away." So-young's face was serious. "The language is unknown, but the computer is working on it." Other crew members on the bridge stopped their work and listened. Finding alien signals was rare and exciting. Most of the time, they only heard human ships or automated beacons. The main screen filled with strange symbols and sounds. The alien voice was high and musical, like water flowing over rocks. It spoke fast, with panic clear in every word. "Translation coming through," So-young announced. The computer's voice began speaking in human language, but the words made Hyun-woo's stomach feel cold. "Emergency! Emergency! This is colony ship Peaceful Current of the Veltari Republic. We are under attack by Kethmore raiders. 50,000. Civilians on board. Life support failing. Hull breaches on multiple decks. Request immediate assistance. Our weapons are destroyed. We cannot defend ourselves." The bridge became very quiet. 50,000 people was more than most human cities. The thought of so many lives in danger made everyone feel sick. "Keep listening," Hyun-woo ordered. The alien voice continued. "We have children on this ship. Our younglings have never seen their home world. Please, anyone who receives this message, help us. The raiders are coming back for final attack. We have maybe 6 hours before life support fails completely." So-young worked on her controls, trying to get more information. "Captain, I'm reading their ship signatures. It's massive. Much bigger than anything humans have built. The life signs are incredible. Definitely 50,000 people, maybe more." "What about these Kethmore raiders?" Hyun-woo asked, scanning. "Now." The sensors officer, Lieutenant J-Ho, studied his screens. "I count 15 ships around the alien vessel. They're armed and dangerous, military-grade weapons. They've damaged the colony ship badly." Hyun-woo felt his hands tighten into fists. Pirates attacking civilians was something that made him angry. It did not matter if the civilians were human or alien. "Are there any other ships in the area? Any rescue vessels?" So-young shook her head. "I sent a message to Galactic Council Emergency Frequencies. The closest Council fleet is 6 days away. These people don't have 6 days." The alien voice spoke again, but this time it sounded different. "Hopeless. We have detected a ship in our area, unknown signature, possibly from the planet, called Earth. We thank you for listening to our call, but we understand you cannot help. Your people are new to space. Your technology is too simple. We do not blame you for staying away. Please remember us and tell others what happened here." Hyun-woo felt a strange emotion rise in his chest. The aliens were giving up on human help, before even asking for it. They thought humans were too weak or too scared to try. "Captain," So-young said quietly, "they're right. We're one science ship against 15 raiders. Our weapons are mining lasers and basic shields. It would be suicide. Maybe, Hyunwoo said, but 50,000 people are going to die if we do nothing. The bridge crew looked at their captain. They knew that look in his eyes. Hyunwoo was the kind of person who could not walk away from people in trouble. It was why they followed him to the edge of known space. Sir, Jae-ho said carefully, the raiders are big ships, heavy armor, military weapons. Our mining equipment might damage them, but probably not enough. What do we know about these Kethmore? Hyunwoo asked. So-young pulled up files on her screen. According to galactic databases, they're pirates. They attack colonies and steal valuable materials. They also take prisoners to sell as slaves. They've been terrorizing this sector for years. And the Veltari? Peaceful water-world people. They don't fight wars. Their ships have almost no weapons. They explore space to find new oceans for their growing population. Hyunwoo walked to the main screen and stared at the distant stars. Somewhere out there, 50,000 people were waiting to die. Men, women, children who had done nothing wrong except be in the wrong place when pirates arrived. Captain, came another voice. Chief Engineer Dae-hyun had arrived on the bridge. I heard the distress call. The whole ship heard it. What's the crew saying? They want to help, Dae-hyun said simply. I know it's crazy. I know we might all die. But we can't just listen to 50,000 people die and do nothing. So-young turned in her chair. Sir, I've been thinking. We're humans. We come from Earth. Our planet tried to kill us every day for millions of years. We learned to fight things bigger and stronger than us. Maybe that counts for something. The raiders don't know much about humans, Jae-ho added. Their files call us unknown primitives from a death world. They might not expect us to attack. Hyunwoo looked around the bridge. Every person there was ready to risk their life for strangers they had never met. It was such a human thing to do. Other species might think it was stupid, but humans had always protected each other. Send a message to the Veltari ship, Hyunwoo decided. Tell them help is coming. What should I say, sir? Tell them that humans from Earth are coming. Tell them we don't abandon people in trouble. Tell them to hold on for a few more hours. So-young sent the message. The response came back quickly, full of surprise and confusion. Earth ship, we appreciate your courage, but you must stay away. These raiders are too dangerous. You will only add your deaths to ours. Hyunwoo smiled coldly. Tell them they don't understand humans very well. We're from a death world. Dangerous is what we do. As the Terra's Edge changed course toward the battle, Hyunwoo thought about the next few hours. They were probably flying toward their own deaths. But sometimes, doing the right thing was more important than being safe. All hands, this is the captain, he announced over the ship's communication system. We're going to rescue 50,000 alien civilians from pirates. I won't lie to you. We might not survive. Anyone who wants to stay behind can take a shuttle to the nearest space station. He waited for responses. None came. The entire crew was staying. Then let's show these raiders what humans can do, Hyunwoo said. The Terra's Edge flew toward the distant battle, carrying 200 humans who refused to let innocent people die alone in the dark. The Terra's Edge moved through space toward the distant battle. Captain Hyunwoo called his senior officers to the meeting room. They had maybe 4 hours before reaching the Veltari colony ship, and they needed a plan. Chief Engineer Dae-hyun spread technical drawings across the table. Medical Officer Yoonji sat next to him studying data about alien biology. Both looked serious and tired. "Tell me our situation," Hyun-woo said. "It's bad," Dae-hyun replied honestly. "We have mining lasers that can cut through rock, but these raider ships have military armor. Our shields are built for asteroids and radiation, not plasma cannons." "What about our weapons?" "6 mining lasers, 2 torpedo tubes for clearing space, debris, and about 20 mining charges we use for breaking apart big rocks. Not exactly a warship." Yoonji looked up from her tablet. "I've been studying the biology data. The Kethmore are former prey animals. They evolved on grasslands where big predators hunted them. Their nervous systems are designed for quick escape, not fighting." "That might help us," Hyun-woo said. "What about the Veltari?" "Water world people. They think like fish in schools. Very peaceful. They probably can't understand why anyone would hurt strangers for profit." Dae-hyun pointed to ship designs on his tablet. "Captain, I've been thinking about modifications. We have 4 hours to turn a science ship into something that can fight. It won't be pretty, but it might work." "What do you need?" "I want to remove safety systems from the mining equipment, take off power limiters, redirect life support energy to weapons if we need it. Basically make everything run at dangerous levels." Yoonji shook her head. "That could kill us before the raiders do." "Maybe. But humans handle stress better than most species. Our bodies are built for emergency situations. We can survive things that would kill other people." Hyun-woo remembered his training about human biology. Humans came from a world where everything tried to eat them. Their bodies could produce chemicals that made them stronger, faster, and less afraid when they were in danger. "What else?" he asked. "I want to use our asteroid mining equipment differently. We have machines that can grab big rocks and throw them. What if we grab pieces of the damaged Veltari ship and throw those at the raiders?" "That's crazy enough to work," Hyun-woo admitted. Yoonji started making notes. "I can prepare medical supplies for the rescue, but Captain, we need to talk about something else. The crew's gonna be scared. Really scared. Fear makes most species freeze up or run away. But not humans. Humans get angry when they're scared. Angry humans are dangerous. I can prepare injections that will help our people stay calm and focused, but I can't do the same for the aliens we're trying to save." Dae-hyun pulled up more files. "There's something else. I've been reading about these Kethmore raiders. They've been attacking ships in this sector for 5 years. They always win because they have bigger guns and more ships. How do they usually attack? They surround their target and demand surrender. If the ship fights back, they destroy it quickly and take what they want from the wreckage. If the ship surrenders, they take prisoners to sell as slaves." Hyun-woo felt cold anger in his stomach. "They're bullies." "Yes, but smart bullies. They never attack anything that might actually hurt them back." Yoonji looked thoughtful. "Captain, I don't think they've ever fought humans before. They probably don't know what we're capable of." "What do you mean?" "Most species in the galaxy evolved on safe worlds. They developed technology before they had to fight for survival. Humans are different. We spent millions of years hunting things bigger than us and fighting off things that wanted to eat us." Dae-hyun nodded. "She's right. Human ships are built differently too. We expect things to break, so we make everything repairable. We expect people to get hurt, so we have good medical systems. We expect to fight, so even our science ships have some weapons. The raiders might not expect us to attack at all," Yoonji added. "In their experience, smaller ships always run away or surrender." Hyun-woo stood up and walked to the window. Stars moved slowly past as the ship flew toward battle. "What you're telling me is that we have one advantage: surprise. Maybe two advantages, Dae-hyun said. Humans are stubborn. We don't give up, even when we should. That might confuse them. And we're used to fighting dirty, Yoonji added. Human military history is full of small groups defeating larger enemies by using tactics that seemed impossible. The captain thought about this. Humans had always been good at surviving impossible situations. It was why they spread across their dangerous planet and eventually reached the stars. All right, here's what we're going to do. Dae-hyun, start your modifications. Take off every safety system you can. If the ship breaks apart, at least it will break apart fighting. Yes, sir. Yoonji, prepare medical supplies for humans and aliens. And get ready to work in combat conditions. Already on it. I'm going to talk to the crew. They deserve to know exactly what we're flying into. Hyunwoo walked to the ship's communication center and opened a channel to every room on the Terra's edge. This is your captain. In 4 hours, we're going to try something that has never been done before. We're going to attack 15 military ships with one science vessel. Most people would call this suicide. He paused, thinking about his next words carefully. But we're not most people. We're humans. Our species learned to hunt mammoths with stone spears. We sailed across oceans in wooden boats. We flew to other planets in metal cans. Humans have always done impossible things when people needed help. The ship was quiet. Everyone was listening. I won't lie to you. We might all die in the next few hours, but 50,000 innocent people will definitely die if we do nothing. I can't live with that. I don't think any of you can either. He looked out at the stars again. We come from Earth, a world that tried to kill us every day. We survived because we protected each other. Today we protect strangers who can't protect themselves. Today, we show the galaxy what humans are really made of. The communication channel filled with voices, not fear, but determination. The crew was ready. All stations, prepare for combat. Show these raiders why humans are called deathworlders. The Terra's Edge flew on through space, carrying 200 humans toward impossible odds. The Terra's Edge became a place of controlled chaos. Every crew member worked without rest, turning their peaceful science ship into something that could fight. The air hummed with energy as systems were pushed beyond their limits. Tactical Officer Minho stood in the cargo bay, surrounded by mining equipment. Large machines that normally cut rocks were being changed into weapons. His team worked with welding tools and computer cables, sweat running down their faces. "Hand me that power coupling," Minho called to his assistant. "We're going to route energy from the main engines directly to the laser array." "Sir, that will overload the system," the young technician warned. "That's the idea. We need these mining lasers to cut through military armor, not just rocks. They'll burn out after a few shots, but hopefully we'll make those shots count." In another part of the cargo bay, Chief Dae-hyun worked on the ship's asteroid-grabbing equipment. These machines used magnetic fields and metal claws to catch floating rocks in space. Now they were being programmed for a different purpose. "If we can't outgun them, we'll throw things at them," Dae-hyun muttered as he rewired control systems. "Humans have been throwing rocks at our enemies since the beginning of time." Pilot Ji-yeon studied star charts on the bridge. Her job was to find a way through the asteroid field near the battle zone. Most pilots would avoid flying through floating rocks, but Ji-yeon was looking for the most dangerous path possible. "Captain," she called to Hyunwoo, "I found our route. It goes through the densest part of the asteroid field. Any normal pilot would crash trying to follow us." "What makes you think we won't crash?" Ji-yeon smiled. Because humans have better reflexes. We evolved dodging falling trees and jumping across rivers. Flying through asteroids is just another version of the same thing. On the lower decks, Dr. Yoon-ji prepared the medical bay for casualties. She also worked on something else: combat drugs that would help the crew fight better. Most alien species couldn't use such chemicals without dying, but human bodies were tougher. These injections will increase reaction time and reduce fear response, she explained to her medical team. They're based on the natural chemicals human bodies make during emergencies. Athletes used similar drugs back on Earth. Is it safe? Asked her assistant. Safer than fighting space pirates without them. Human bodies are designed to handle extreme stress. We just need to help them do it better. All over the ship, crew members worked on projects that would have horrified other species. They removed safety systems from engines. They turned scientific equipment into bombs. They prepared to do things that were technically impossible, but practically necessary. Meanwhile, the Terra's edge intercepted more communications from the battle zone. The Kethmore raiders were talking to each other, and their words made the humans angry. The waterfish people are almost dead, one raider captain said. Their ship is breaking apart. We'll board them soon and take the survivors. What about that human ship? Asked another voice. Humans? Those are the primitives from the Deathworld, right? Probably just curious about the noise. They'll run away when they see real weapons. Should we warn them off? No. Let them come close. If they don't run, we'll destroy them quickly. Might be fun to see what Deathworlders look like when they die. The raiders laughed at their own joke. They had no idea what was coming. Lieutenant So Young worked at her communication station, trying to help the Veltari survivors. The aliens were confused by human willingness to help strangers. Earthship, came the musical alien voice. Our sensors show you are approaching the battle zone. Please reconsider. The raiders have weapons that can destroy you in seconds. Tell them we understand, Hyun-woo ordered. Tell them humans specialize in doing things that should be impossible. They're asking about our battle experience, So Young reported. They want to know if we've fought the Kethmore before. Tell them no. But tell them we've been fighting since we lived in caves. Tell them Earth taught us that sometimes you have to fight things bigger than you if you want to survive. As the hours passed, the crew worked without sleeping. Human bodies could do this when necessary, running on adrenaline and determination. It was another thing that made them different from most alien species. Min-ho completed his weapon modifications just as proximity alarms began sounding. They were getting close to the battle zone. Weapons are ready, he reported to the bridge. The mining lasers will cut through almost anything, but they'll only work for a few shots each. After that, we're down to throwing rocks. The grabber. Arms are programmed, Dae-hyun added. We can pick up debris from the damaged alien ship and launch it at the raiders, turn their own attack against them. Ji-yeon studied her navigation screens. Asteroid field coming up. I'm taking us in through the back door. By the time they see us, we'll be right on top of them. Dr. Yoon-ji finished preparing her combat drugs. Medical bay is ready for anything. The crew has been injected with performance enhancers. Everyone should be operating at peak human capacity. Hyun-woo looked around the bridge at his officers. They were tired but determined. Fear and excitement mixed together in their eyes. The look of humans preparing for battle. Status report on the Veltari ship? Life support failing, So Young replied. They have maybe 2 hours left. The raiders are moving in for their final attack. And the raiders? 15 ships in standard attack formation. They're taking their time because they think the Veltari can't fight back. Hyun-woo stood up and walked to the main screen. In the distance, he could see flashes of weapons fire. The raiders were slowly destroying the colony ship, playing with their victims like cats with mice. All stations, battle stations, he announced. Remember, we're not here to win a fair fight. We're here to save lives and show these bullies what happens when they pick on the wrong people. The Terra's Edge entered the asteroid field at dangerous speed. Ji-Yon's hands moved over the controls like a pianist playing a complex song. The ship twisted and turned between floating rocks, moving faster than anything that size should be able to move. Approaching the battle zone, she reported. The raiders still haven't seen us. Perfect. Let's introduce ourselves properly. The human ship burst out of the asteroid field like an angry predator. The Kethmore raiders were so surprised they stopped shooting at the Veltari ship and stared at the newcomer. This is Captain Hyunwoo of the human vessel Terra's Edge. He broadcast on all frequencies. You are attacking innocent civilians. Surrender immediately or face the consequences. The raider communication channels exploded with laughter and insults. They couldn't believe one small ship was threatening 15 military vessels. Time to show them why you don't mess with Deathworlders, Hyunwoo said quietly. The Terra's Edge opened fire. The first shot from the Terra's Edge surprised everyone in the battle zone. The modified mining laser hit a Kethmore raider ship and cut through its armor like paper. The raider ship spun away, trailing atmosphere and debris. Impossible, came a voice over the communication channels. That was a mining ship. Communications specialist Haewon worked frantically at her station, monitoring both the Veltari survivors and the shocked raiders. The conversations she heard made her smile. Despite the danger, Earthship, came the musical Veltari voice, full of amazement. Your weapons are far more powerful than our sensors indicated. How is this possible? Tell them we removed the safety systems, Captain Hyunwoo ordered. Tell them humans don't believe in fighting fair when innocent lives are at stake. On the raider frequencies, panic was starting to replace laughter. How did they get through our sensor net? Demanded one raider captain. They came through the asteroid field, replied another. No one flies through that field at combat speed. Well, they just did. And they're not running away. Haewon opened a channel to all the raider ships. Attention, Kethmore vessels. You are now facing humans from Earth. We strongly suggest you leave this area immediately. The response was exactly what she expected. More threats and insults. But she could hear uncertainty in their voices now. They had been laughing at one small ship threatening 15 larger ones. Now one of their ships was damaged and the humans were still attacking. Security Chief Jun-sik prepared his teams for the most dangerous part of the plan. While the Terra's Edge fought the raiders, boarding parties would try to reach the damaged Veltari ship and help with evacuations. Remember, he told his security teams, we're going to be working in spacesuits while people are shooting at us. This is not normal procedure, but humans have been doing impossible things since we figured out how to make fire. His teams checked their equipment one more time. They had cutting tools, medical supplies, and temporary air systems for the aliens they hoped to rescue. Most importantly, they had the stubborn human refusal to give up when things looked hopeless. First shuttle is ready, reported pilot Tae-young. We've stripped out everything except life support and engines. Maximum speed, minimum protection. That's the human way, Jun-sik replied. Fast and crazy. Back on the bridge, Ji-Yeon continued flying the Terra's Edge through patterns that made no sense to the raiders. She used the asteroid field like cover, appearing from behind rocks to fire, then disappearing again before the raiders could respond effectively. Their formation is breaking up, she reported. They're not used to fighting in 3 dimensions like this. Keep them confused, Hyunwoo ordered. Make them think like prey instead of predators. Minho coordinated the ship's weapons from his station. The modified mining lasers were working perfectly, but each shot brought them closer to burning out. Laser array at 60% power, he reported. Maybe 10 more shots before total failure. Then we'd better make them count. The Terra's Edge swooped around a large asteroid and fired 3 lasers at once. 2 raider ships took damage, but the third shot missed. The human ship disappeared behind another rock before the raiders could return fire. Dr. Yoon-ji monitored the crew's condition from the medical bay. The combat drugs were working as planned, keeping everyone alert and focused despite the stress. Crew is performing at optimal levels, she reported. Human stress response is actually improving their reaction times. Any word from the Veltari ship? They're amazed we're still fighting. They keep asking how we're surviving against so many enemies. Hay-1 intercepted more raider communications. What she heard made her laugh out loud. They're arguing among themselves, she announced. Half of them want to retreat. The other half can't believe they're losing to one human ship. What exactly are they saying? The lead raider captain is screaming at his subordinates. He's calling us insane Deathworld barbarians and demanding to know why their sensors didn't detect our approach. And the response, one of them said, and I quote, "Maybe because Deathworlders don't follow normal tactical doctrine?" On the Veltari colony ship, the survivors watched the battle with growing amazement. Their peaceful culture had no experience with combat, but they understood that something extraordinary was happening. The human ship moved like a living thing, dodging and striking with precision that seemed impossible. It used the asteroid field like a tool, turning environmental hazards into tactical advantages. "How do they fly like that?" asked one Veltari engineer. "They come from a dangerous world," replied their captain. "Perhaps they learned to see opportunity, where we see only obstacles." Security Chief Jun-sik launched the first rescue shuttle toward the damaged alien ship. The small craft raced through space while weapons fire lit up the darkness around it. "Taking fire," reported the shuttle pilot. "But the raiders are too busy chasing the Terra's Edge to aim properly." "Keep going. Those people need our help." The binge shuttle reached the Veltari ship and attached to an emergency airlock. Jun-sik and his team entered the alien vessel wearing full spacesuits. What they found inside shocked them. The Veltari were aquatic people, breathing water instead of air. Their ship was flooding from hull breaches, but they were drowning in their own atmosphere. It was like a nightmare version of a sinking boat. Medical. "Team to the alien ship immediately," Jun-sik called over his radio. "We need underwater rescue equipment." "On our way," Dr. Yoon-ji replied. She grabbed specialized gear and headed for the shuttle bay. This is why humans cross-train for every possible emergency. Meanwhile, the space battle continued to surprise everyone involved. The Terra's Edge had now damaged 4 raider ships and showed no signs of retreating. "Captain," Minho reported, "the raiders are trying to surround us. Classic pack-hunting behavior." "Too bad for them, we're better at it," Hyun-woo replied. "Ji-yeon, take us into that dense asteroid cluster. Let's see if they're brave enough to follow." The human ship dove into a maze of floating rocks that would terrify most pilots. The raiders followed, but much more slowly and carefully. Their caution gave the Terra's Edge time to set up the next phase of the plan. "Grabber arms ready," reported Chief Dae-hyun. "I've got a nice big chunk of the alien ship's broken armor plating locked on. Fire when ready." The Terra's Edge grabbed a piece of debris the size of a city bus and launched it at the nearest raider ship. The improvised missile hit with devastating force, crippling the enemy vessel. "Did they just throw spaceship parts at us?" came a shocked voice over the Raider communication channels. Affirmative. The humans are using our own weapons against us. Wan monitored the growing panic in the Raider communications. These pirates were used to fighting helpless victims, not opponents who fought back with tactics they couldn't understand. Captain, she announced, I think their nerve is breaking. They're starting to question whether this attack is worth the cost. Good. Fear makes predators stupid. Let's give them something more to think about. The Terra's Edge emerged from the asteroid cluster and opened fire with all remaining weapons at once. The coordinated barrage destroyed one Raider ship completely and sent two others retreating toward the edge of the battle zone. This is impossible, screamed the lead Raider captain over open channels. How is one ship defeating our entire fleet? Captain. Hyunwoo opened a response channel. This is Captain Hyunwoo. You picked the wrong victims today. Humans don't abandon innocent people, and we don't lose to bullies. The battle had shifted completely. What started as 15 predators attacking, helpless prey had become a fight for survival against an enemy the Raiders didn't understand and couldn't defeat. The battle reached its most intense phase, as the Terra's Edge proved that humans could fight in ways other species found impossible to understand. Security Chief Jun-sik led rescue teams through the damaged Veltari ship while weapons fire exploded around them. Inside the alien vessel, the situation was desperate. The aquatic Veltari were drowning as their ship flooded with their own breathing water. Hull breaches had destroyed the pressure systems that kept their environment stable. This is like a three-dimensional underwater rescue, Jun-sik reported to Captain Hyunwoo. We need to move through flooded compartments to reach the survivors. Can you do it? We're humans, sir. Our ancestors swam across oceans and dove for pearls. We can handle this. Jun-sik and his team moved through the alien ship with equipment designed for underwater rescue operations. They had trained for emergencies in Earth's oceans, never expecting to use those skills in space. The Veltari survivors watched in amazement as humans swam through their flooded corridors, carrying breathing equipment and emergency supplies. The aliens had gills and could breathe water naturally, but they needed help moving injured people to safety. How do you move so well in water? Asked a Veltari engineer. Humans are good swimmers, Jun-sik explained through his translator. We evolved near water. Swimming is as natural as walking for us. Meanwhile, Engineer Yujin executed the most dangerous part of the human plan. She had calculated how to destabilize part of the asteroid field, creating a chaotic environment that would favor human reflexes and spatial thinking. Detonating mining charges in 3, 2, 1, she announced. The explosion sent thousands of rock fragments flying in all directions. The Raiders, who were used to fighting in open space, suddenly found themselves in a deadly maze of moving obstacles. What did they do? Screamed one Raider captain. The entire asteroid field is moving. They blew up the rocks, replied another. Now everything is flying around at random. For the Kethmore Raiders, this was a nightmare. Their species had evolved as prey animals on open grasslands. Their minds worked best when they could see threats coming from far away. The chaos of floating, debris confused their nervous systems, but for humans, this was just another day on Earth. Humans had evolved dodging falling trees in forests, avoiding rock slides in mountains, and navigating through storm waves in oceans. Moving through random obstacles was something their brains did automatically. Pilot Ji-yeon flew the Terra's Edge through the debris field like she was dancing. Her hands moved over the controls by instinct, making corrections faster than conscious thought. The Raiders are having trouble following us, she reported. Their reaction times are too slow for this environment. Perfect. Let's use that advantage. Back in the Veltari ship, Dr. Yunji set up an emergency medical station in one of the less damaged compartments. She had to adapt human medical techniques. For alien biology, working with patients who breathed water instead of air. Their healing systems are different from ours, she explained to her medical team. But the basic principles are the same. Stop bleeding, fix broken bones, treat shock. The Veltari medical officers watched Dr. Yunji work with growing respect. Human medicine seemed brutally direct compared to their gentle techniques, but it was incredibly effective. "You work so quickly," observed a Veltari doctor, "and you function well under stress. Humans evolved fixing injuries in dangerous situations," Yunji replied, while treating a wounded alien. "We learned to do surgery while predators were still trying to eat us." The space battle continued with the Terra's Edge, using tactics that made no sense to anyone except humans. Captain Hyunwoo coordinated his ship's movements like a pack leader directing a hunt. "Min-ho, hit the lead raider ship with everything we have left," he ordered. "Ji-yun, get us behind that cluster of large asteroids. Dae-hyun, prepare to launch. More debris!" The human ship struck like a predator, appearing from unexpected directions to attack, then disappearing before the raiders could respond. Each attack was coordinated with the movements of the other humans, creating a pattern of assault that confused and frightened their enemies. "They fight like pack hunters," observed one raider officer. "But we're the predators here." "Are we?" replied his captain. "Because right now I feel like prey." The lead raider ship took multiple hits from the Terra's Edge and began losing power. Its shields failed, and atmosphere leaked from hull breaches. The mighty warship that had terrorized this sector for years was being destroyed by a human science. "Vessel! Impossible!" the raider captain screamed. "We have superior weapons, superior armor, superior numbers." "But you don't have superior determination," Captain Hyunwoo replied over the communication channel. "And you definitely don't have superior tactics." Yujin detonated more mining charges, creating additional chaos in the asteroid field. Now the environment was so dangerous that only the most skilled pilots could navigate it safely. 3 more raider ships collided with asteroids while trying to chase the Terra's Edge. Their pilots, confused by the 3-dimensional maze of moving rocks, made fatal mistakes that human pilots would have avoided easily. "This is not normal combat," complained one surviving raider. "They've turned the entire battlefield into a trap." "Welcome to fighting humans," Hyunwoo responded. "We don't believe in normal combat." Sergeant Tae-jin led another boarding party to a different section of the Veltari ship. His team moved through areas that were completely flooded, using underwater cutting tools to free trapped survivors. "We've got a group of younglings trapped behind debris," he reported. "The water pressure is too high for the adults to reach them. Can you get through?" "We're going to try something crazy. We're going to blow a hole in the hull and use the decompression to clear the debris. That could kill everyone in that section. Only if we do it wrong. But humans specialize in controlled explosions." Tae-jin and his team placed small charges precisely around the trapped area. When they detonated, the controlled explosion cleared the debris without harming the young Veltari. Inside, the alien survivors couldn't believe what they had seen. Humans had deliberately breached their ship's hull to save lives, using destruction as a tool of rescue. "How did you know that would work?" asked a Veltari officer. "We didn't," Tae-jin replied honestly. "But sometimes you have to try dangerous solutions when safe ones don't exist." Back in space, the battle was turning into a complete disaster for the raiders. Half their ships were damaged or destroyed, and the rest were too confused and frightened to fight effectively. The Terra's edge had taken damage too. The mining lasers were completely burned out, and several hull sections were breached. But the human crew kept fighting with whatever they had left. "Weapons down to debris launchers only," reported Minho. "But we still have plenty of rocks to throw." "Life support holding steady," added Chief Dae-hyun. "The crew is tired but still functional." "Medical bay is busy but manageable," reported Dr. Yoonji. "Human resilience is keeping everyone going." Captain Hyun-woo looked at the tactical display. The raiders were clearly losing, but they still had enough firepower to destroy his ship if they coordinated their attacks properly. "They're starting to panic," observed Communications Officer Hae-won. "Their unit cohesion is breaking down." "Good. Panicked predators make mistakes." The Terra's edge launched one final barrage of debris at the remaining raider ships. Chunks of asteroid and pieces of destroyed vessels flew through space like a storm of projectiles. 2 more raider ships took critical damage and began retreating toward the edge of the system. The others hesitated, torn between their desire to finish the attack and their growing fear of these impossible humans. "This is your last chance," Captain Hyun-woo broadcast to the surviving raiders. "Leave now, or find out what else humans are capable of." The threat worked. The remaining Kethmore ships turned and fled, leaving their damaged comrades behind. The terror of the sector had been defeated by one human science vessel and the stubborn refusal to abandon innocent people in need. The space around the damaged Veltari colony ship became quiet for the first time in hours. Most of the Kethmore raider ships had fled, leaving only debris and the wounded behind. But Captain Hyun-woo knew the battle was not over yet. Status. "Report!" he called to his bridge crew. 7 raider ships confirmed destroyed or disabled," reported Lieutenant Minho. 5 more retreated to the edge of the system. 3 are still here, but they're keeping their distance. Navigator Seo-jun studied his tactical screens carefully. During the battle, he had been tracking the movement of every ship, plotting courses. That looked like desperate evasive maneuvers, but were actually something much more clever. "Captain," Seo-jun said quietly, "the remaining raiders have positioned themselves exactly where I wanted them." "Explain." "While we were fighting, I've been herding them like sheep. Every time we retreated, I chose directions that would push them into a specific formation. Now they're clustered together in the worst possible position." Hyun-woo smiled. This was why humans were dangerous opponents. They could fight and think strategically at the same time, planning several moves ahead while their enemies only reacted to immediate threats. "What kind of position?" "They're sitting directly between us and the largest remaining asteroid cluster. If we can get them to chase us again, they'll have to fly through a narrow passage with rocks on both sides." "A kill zone." "Exactly. And I've already calculated the timing for Yujin's mining charges." Engineer Yujin looked up from her station. "I've got explosives placed throughout that cluster. If the raiders enter the passage, I can bring down enough rocks to crush them all." "That's assuming they're stupid enough to follow us," Minho pointed out. "They will be," Hyun-woo said confidently. "Their pride is hurt. They can't accept being defeated by one human ship. They'll want to finish this fight." Communications Officer Hae-won monitored the raider frequencies. The conversation she heard confirmed the captain's prediction. "They're arguing," she reported. "The lead captain is demanding one final attack. He's calling their retreat cowardly and shameful." "What about the other captains?" "2 want to leave immediately. 1 is agreeing to try again. They're not coordinating well anymore." This was another. Human advantage. When things went wrong, humans tended to work together more closely. But many alien species did the opposite. They panicked and blamed each other instead of solving the problem. In the Veltari colony ship, the rescue operations continued. Security Chief Jun Sik had organized the evacuation of the most damaged sections, moving thousands of alien survivors to safer areas. "The humans are incredible," observed a Veltari officer. "They work in our flooded corridors as easily as in their own ship." Dr. Yunji had set up multiple medical stations throughout the alien vessel. Her teams treated injuries that would have been fatal without immediate attention, using techniques that seemed aggressive but saved lives. "Human medicine is very direct," she explained to the Veltari doctors who were helping her. "We're used to treating trauma injuries in emergency conditions." "Your people must face terrible dangers on your world," replied a Veltari medic. "We do. But that's what makes us good at helping others when they face terrible dangers too." Back on the Terra's edge, Chief Dae-hyun worked frantically to repair the ship's most critical systems. The mining lasers were completely destroyed, but he was jury-rigging other equipment to serve as weapons. "I've got the debris launchers running at full capacity," he reported. "And I found a way to overload our tractor beam generators. They'll work like directed energy weapons for maybe 2 shots before burning out." "How powerful?" "Powerful enough to crack the hull of a raider ship, but we'll only get one chance to use them." Captain Hyunwoo made his decision. "All right, we're going to try Seo Jun's trap, but first we need to make them angry enough to chase us into it." He opened a communication channel to the remaining raider ships. "Attention Kethamor vessels. This is Captain Hyunwoo. You fought poorly today. Your ships are weak, your tactics are amateur, and your courage is questionable." The response was immediate and furious. The raider captains screamed insults and threats over the communication channels. Their anger made them careless, which was exactly what Hyunwoo wanted. "Furthermore," he continued, "I suggest you leave this system immediately. You've embarrassed yourselves enough for one day." "You will pay for your arrogance, human," roared the lead raider captain. "We are going to destroy your ship piece by piece." "You're welcome to try," Hyunwoo replied calmly. "But you should know that we humans have a saying: never anger something that evolved on a death world." The 3 remaining raider ships moved toward the Terra's edge in attack formation. Their weapons charged and their shields strengthened, preparing for what they thought would be the final battle. "They're taking the bait," Seo Jun reported. "Adjusting our course to lead them into the passage." Pilot Ji-yeon began flying toward the asteroid cluster, but not at full speed. She wanted the raiders to think they could catch the human ship before it reached safety. "They're gaining on us," Minho observed. "Should I return fire?" "Not yet. Let them think they're winning." The Terra's edge flew toward the narrow passage between 2 large asteroids. The raiders followed eagerly, excited by the chance to finally destroy their stubborn enemy. "Perfect," Seo Jun said. "They're entering the kill zone now. Jin, are you ready? Charges are armed and targeted. Say the word." The Terra's edge entered the passage with the raider ships close behind. The aliens thought they had the humans trapped in a dead end, but they were wrong. "Now!" Hyunwoo ordered. Jin detonated the mining charges she had placed throughout the asteroid cluster. The explosion sent massive chunks of rock flying into the narrow passage, creating a deadly avalanche in space. The first raider ship tried to turn around but was too slow. Several large asteroids crashed into its hull, crushing the vessel like an egg. The second ship managed to avoid the largest rocks, but took severe damage to its engines and weapons. The third raider ship, seeing the fate of its companions, tried desperately to escape the passage. But Dae-hyun was ready with his improvised weapons. "Firing overloaded tractor beams," he announced. The concentrated energy beams struck the fleeing raider ship and tore through its rear shields. The vessel's engines exploded, leaving it drifting helplessly in space. "That's all of them," Minho reported. "The immediate threat is over." But Hyunwoo wasn't finished yet. He opened communication channels to every ship in the system, including the raiders who had retreated to the edge of the battle zone. "This is Captain Hyunwoo of the human vessel Terra's Edge. Today you learned something important about my species. We don't abandon innocent people. We don't surrender to bullies, and we don't lose when lives are at stake." He paused, making sure his next words would be heard clearly. "The Veltari people are now under human protection. Any future attacks on them will be considered attacks on humanity itself. We suggest you find easier targets elsewhere." The retreating raider ships immediately jumped to faster-than-light speed, fleeing the system as quickly as their engines could carry them. Communications. Officer Hae-won monitored their transmissions as they escaped. "They're calling this the worst defeat in Kethmore history. They're warning other raider groups to avoid any system with human ships." Good. Maybe other innocent people won't have to go through what the Veltari did today. The Terra's Edge moved alongside the damaged colony ship, where rescue operations were still continuing. Thousands of Veltari survivors had been saved by human courage and ingenuity. "Status of the alien survivors?" Hyunwoo asked. "All critical. Injuries are stabilized," reported Dr. Yoonji. "We'll need to transfer many of them to our ship for continued treatment. But they're going to live. Their ship?" "Repairable," said Chief Dae-hyun. "It'll take time and resources, but we can get their life support systems working again." Captain Hyunwoo looked out at the stars, feeling tired but satisfied. They had saved 50,000 lives, and proven that humans deserved respect in the galaxy. "Signal Earth Command," he ordered. "Tell them we've made first contact with 2 new species. One of them is now our ally. The other one learned not to mess with humans." The battle was over, but the real changes were just beginning. 3 days after the battle, the Terra's Edge docked with the repaired Veltari colony ship. The 2 vessels were connected by temporary bridges that allowed crew members to move between ships safely. The sight of humans and aliens working together amazed everyone involved. Diplomat In-soo had never expected to become humanity's first official alien contact specialist. But that was exactly what happened. His small office on the Terra's Edge was now the center of galactic communications as species from across the galaxy tried to understand what humans had done. "Captain," In-soo reported to Hyunwoo, "we're receiving communications from 47 different star systems. Everyone wants to know about the species that defeated the Kethmore raiders." "What kinds of messages?" "Everything. Some are congratulations. Some are requests for help with their own pirate problems. Some are threats from criminal organizations who don't like what we did to their reputation." In-soo pulled up files on his computer screen. "But the most interesting messages are from the Galactic Council itself. They want to meet with us immediately." Intelligence Officer Subin worked at a nearby station, monitoring communication networks across the galaxy. What she discovered amazed and worried her at the same time. "Sir, the story of our battle is spreading faster than we thought possible," she announced. "The Veltari survivors are telling everyone they meet about what humans did for them." "What exactly are they saying?" "They're calling us the pack hunters who protect strangers. They're describing our rescue tactics as impossible but effective. Most importantly, they're telling other species that humans can be trusted." Subin showed him recordings of Veltari communications with other aquatic species. The aliens spoke with religious awe about humans who swam through their flooded ship to save lives, who fought impossible odds without hesitation, who risked everything for people they had never met. "But there's more," she continued. The Kethmore survivors are also talking. They're spreading warnings about human combat capabilities throughout the criminal networks. What kind of warnings? They're calling humans Deathworld pack predators, with no sense of proper defeat. They're advising other raiders to avoid any system where human ships have been detected. Insu laughed at this description. Deathworld pack predators? I suppose that's technically accurate. It gets better, Subin added. Several alien databases have reclassified humans from unknown primitives to Class 12 apex predators based on our performance in this battle. Captain Hyunwoo joined the conversation. Class 12? What does that mean? It means they think we're as dangerous as the most feared species in the galaxy. Species that other civilizations avoid making angry. This news was both good and bad. Respect was useful, but too much fear could make diplomatic relations difficult. Any word from Earth Command? Hyunwoo asked. Insu nodded. They're sending a full diplomatic team and a support fleet. Apparently, our little rescue mission has created the biggest change in human-alien relations since we discovered faster-than-light travel. Meanwhile, Dr. Yoonji worked in the medical bay with Veltari doctors, sharing techniques and learning about alien biology. The cultural exchange was proving valuable for both species. Human medicine is very aggressive, observed Dr. Kelu, the lead Veltari physician. But incredibly effective. You saved lives that we would have lost. We learned to work under pressure, Yoonji replied. When your ancestors were being chased by predators, you had to fix injuries quickly or die. This explains much about your people. You treat crisis as normal experience. The friendship between the two medical teams was becoming a model for human-alien cooperation. They were already planning joint research projects to help both species. Chief Engineer Dae-hyun worked with Veltari technicians to repair their colony ship. The aliens were amazed by human engineering techniques, which they described as controlled chaos that somehow works perfectly. You rebuild broken systems while they are still operating, marveled Engineer Velu. This should be impossible. We call it emergency repair, Dae-hyun explained. We learned to fix things without shutting them down because we couldn't afford to stop working when predators were hunting us. Your evolution created very practical people. The Veltari engineering teams were eager to learn human techniques, while the humans were fascinated by Veltari biotechnology. The knowledge exchange was benefiting both civilizations. Communications Officer Hai Wan monitored the growing galactic reaction to news about humans. What she heard worried her. Captain, there's something you need to know, she told Hyunwoo privately. Not everyone is happy about what we did. Explain. Several criminal organizations are forming an alliance specifically to deal with the human problem. They're calling us a threat to their business model. Because we actually fight back when they attack civilians? Exactly. They're used to dealing with peaceful species who surrender rather than risk casualties. We've shown other species that fighting back is possible. This was an unintended consequence that could have serious results. If humans became the target of organized criminal activity, it could lead to a much larger conflict. What about legitimate governments? Hyunwoo asked. Mixed reactions. Some want to hire us as security contractors. Others are worried that humans might be too aggressive for normal galactic society. Meanwhile, the Galactic Council emergency session was taking place on the other side of the galaxy. Subin had managed to intercept some of the communications from that meeting. They're debating whether humans should be granted immediate council membership or put under observation as a potentially dangerous species, she reported. What's the current opinion? The Veltari ambassador is arguing strongly in our favor. She's showing video recordings of our rescue operations and medical assistance, but several other species are concerned about our combat effectiveness. Insu received an urgent message from the council. Captain, they want to speak with you. Directly. They're setting up a real-time communication link for tomorrow. What should I tell them? The truth. That we're a species that protects innocent people and fights bullies. If that makes us dangerous, then maybe the galaxy needs more dangerous species. Dr. Yunji joined the conversation with news from the Veltari survivors. The aliens want to do something for us. They're offering to share their advanced biotechnology and requesting formal alliance status. Alliance? They want humans to be their official protectors. In exchange, they'll provide us with medical technology that could extend human lifespans by decades. This was exactly the kind of offer that could change everything for humanity. Advanced alien technology in exchange for security services. It was the beginning of a true partnership between species. Pilot Ji Yan entered the bridge with navigation data. Captain, long-range sensors are detecting multiple ships approaching. Our position. They're not raiders. The signatures are too diverse. Who are they? Representatives from at least 12 different species. Word has spread that humans are here, and everyone wants to meet us. Subin confirmed this with communication intercepts. They're coming to see the Deathworld species that saved 50,000 strangers. Some want to hire us. Others want to study us. A few want to challenge us to prove their own strength. Captain Hyun-woo looked around at his senior officers. None of them had expected that a simple rescue mission would turn into first contact with dozens of alien species. It seems like we've opened a door that can't be closed, he observed. Is that bad? Asked Insu. I don't think so. The galaxy was full of bullies picking on peaceful people. Maybe it's time someone stood up to them. The Terra's edge had proven that humans were not the primitive species other civilizations thought they were. Now the real work would begin. Building relationships with allies, deterring enemies, and showing the galaxy that strength could be used to protect rather than exploit. Prepare for multiple first contact situations, Hyun-woo ordered. And send a message to Earth Command. Tell them to send more ships. We're going to need them. The rescue of the Veltari colony ship had changed everything. Humans were no longer unknown primitives from an uncharted world. They were now players in galactic politics, with all the opportunities and dangers that brought. 6 months later, Captain Hyun-woo stood before the Galactic Council's first Human Integration Committee on the massive space station called Unity Point. The chamber was filled with representatives from hundreds of species, all wanting to understand. The mysterious humans who had changed everything. The committee meeting was being broadcast across the galaxy. Billions of beings watched as humanity made its case for membership in galactic civilization. Honored representatives, Hyun-woo began. 6 months ago, my crew answered a distress call from strangers. Today, that simple act of helping people in trouble has led to fundamental changes in how our galaxy works. Ambassador Kelu of the Veltari Republic spoke first in support of humanity. Her aquatic species had become Earth's strongest advocates after the rescue operation. The humans saved 50,000 of my people when no one else could help, she said, her musical voice carrying clearly through the translation systems. They risked their own lives for strangers they had never met. This is the kind of species our galaxy needs. The Veltari had done more than just speak for humans. They had shared their advanced biotechnology freely, leading to medical breakthroughs that helped multiple species. Dr. Yoonji's joint research projects had already saved thousands of lives across a dozen worlds. The human Veltari medical exchange has revolutionized trauma treatment, reported Dr. Kalu during her presentation. Human techniques for working under pressure, combined with our biological knowledge, have created new possibilities for saving lives. But not everyone supported human membership in the Galactic Council. Representative Zoth of the Hegemony Worlds expressed the concerns of more cautious species. Humans are undoubtedly effective, he admitted reluctantly, but their methods are extreme. They removed safety systems from their own ship to increase weapon power. They deliberately flew through dangerous asteroid fields. They treated vacuum combat as routine. With respect, Hyunwoo replied, extreme situations require extreme solutions. The Kethmore raiders had been terrorizing peaceful species for years because no one was willing to take risks to stop them. Intelligence officer Subin had prepared detailed reports on the changes that followed the battle. The results were impressive and sometimes surprising. Criminal activity in the sector had dropped by 70% after news of the human victory spread. Pirates and raiders were avoiding any system where human ships might be present. Several criminal organizations had relocated their operations to distant parts of the galaxy. The Kethmore raiders completely abandoned this sector, she reported to the committee. They now operate only in areas where they think humans cannot reach them. But the changes went far beyond crime reduction. The rescue had demonstrated that small, determined groups could defeat much larger enemies if they used proper tactics and worked together effectively. Chief Engineer Dae-hyun had been invited to speak about human engineering methods. His techniques for emergency modification and repair were being studied by a dozen civilizations. Human engineering assumes that things will break and people will be in danger, he explained to the fascinated audience. We design systems that can be repaired quickly under combat conditions. We plan for the worst possible situations. But this makes your technology less efficient, objected a representative from the Efficient Worlds Coalition. Less efficient, but more reliable when it matters most, Dae-hyun replied. What good is perfect efficiency if your system fails when people are depending on it? The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with conversations as representatives discussed what they had learned about human philosophy and methods. Diplomat Insu had spent months negotiating with various species, and his reports showed the broad impact of human contact. 23 species had requested security assistance from human forces. 15 others wanted to study human tactics and training methods. The galaxy is learning that peaceful species don't have to remain helpless, he told the committee. Humans are teaching others how to protect themselves. This was perhaps the most important change. For generations, peaceful species had accepted that they were vulnerable to more aggressive civilizations. The human example showed that determination and clever tactics could overcome superior numbers and firepower. Representative Mora of the Gentle Worlds Alliance spoke about this transformation. Before the humans arrived, we believed that violence was always wrong. We still believe violence should be the last choice, but we now understand that sometimes it is the necessary choice. Captain Hyunwoo noticed that many species representatives were taking notes during the presentation. The galaxy was clearly interested in learning human methods, even if they weren't sure about accepting humans as equals. We offer the galaxy a new model of strength. He continued his address. Not strength used to dominate others, but strength used to protect those who cannot protect themselves. The committee session continued for hours as representatives asked questions about human society, methods, and intentions. Many were curious about Earth itself. the deadly world that had produced such determined people. Your planet tried to kill you for millions of years, observed Representative Kelu. How did this create a species that protects strangers? Because we learned that cooperation is the key to survival, Hyunwoo answered. Humans who helped each other lived. Humans who only cared about themselves died. We evolved to see other people's survival as connected to our own survival. This concept was difficult for some species to understand. Many civilizations had developed in environments where resources were abundant and cooperation was optional rather than necessary. But the results spoke for themselves. Human willingness to sacrifice for strangers had saved 50,000 Veltari lives and changed the balance of power in their entire sector of space. The final vote was closer than expected, but the result was clear. Humanity would be granted full membership in the Galactic Council, along with all the rights and responsibilities that brought. "Welcome to galactic civilization," announced the Council President. "We look forward to learning from your unique perspective." After the ceremony, Hyunwoo met with his senior officers in a private chamber. They had all been promoted and given new responsibilities in humanity's expanding role in galactic affairs. "What happens now?" asked Lieutenant So Young, who had been promoted to Chief Communications Officer for the entire human fleet. "Now we do what we've always done," Hyunwoo replied. "We help people who need help. We fight bullies who pick on the weak. We show the galaxy that being civilized doesn't mean being helpless." Dr. Yoonji would be leading the new Interspecies Medical Institute, sharing human techniques with alien doctors while learning from their knowledge. Chief Dae-hyun was appointed director of emergency engineering for the Council's disaster response teams. "The real work is just beginning," observed In-soo, who had become humanity's first galactic ambassador. "We've proven that humans deserve respect. Now we have to prove that we deserve trust." Through the chamber's windows, they could see the first mixed-species cruise ships launching from Unity Point's docking bays. Human officers worked alongside alien colleagues, bringing together the best qualities of multiple civilizations. "Look at that," said pilot Ji-yeon, pointing at one of the departing vessels. 6 months ago, no one had heard of humans. Now we're training alien pilots in three-dimensional combat tactics. The changes were visible everywhere. Human-designed emergency response teams were being deployed to disaster zones across the galaxy. Human-trained security forces were protecting vulnerable colonies from pirates and raiders. Most importantly, peaceful species were learning that they didn't have to accept being victims. The human example had shown them that courage and determination could overcome seemingly impossible odds. "You know what I think," said Security Chief Jun-sik, who now commanded the Council's first rapid response force. "I think the galaxy was waiting for someone to show them how to fight back. They just needed an example." Captain Hyunwoo looked out at the stars, thinking about the journey that had brought them here. A simple distress call had led to humanity's recognition as a major galactic power. More importantly, it had proven that doing the right thing, even when it seemed impossible, could change everything. "The Veltari were right about one thing," he said quietly. "We are pack hunters, but we hunt problems, not people. We hunt injustice, not innocence." The Terra's Edge was now the flagship of humanity's expanding fleet, with Captain Hyunwoo commanding a task force dedicated to protecting civilian populations across the galaxy. It was exactly the role humans were meant to play as they prepared to leave Unity Point for their next mission. A message arrived from Earth Command. New colonies were requesting human protection. Peaceful species were asking for training in human defensive tactics. Even some former enemies were seeking diplomatic contact. "Ready for departure, Captain," reported the new pilot, a young woman, named Seo Jin, who had trained under Ji Yan's guidance. "Set course for the Andorian system," Hyun-woo ordered. "They're reporting raider activity near their agricultural colonies." "Another rescue mission?" asked So-young. "Another chance to show the galaxy what humans stand for," Hyun-woo corrected.